Hello everyone and welcome in my cooking channel Czech Cookbook. On my table I have this mysteriously looking vegetable. Some of you probably know what it is, some of you have seen it maybe in the store and have no idea how it tastes like, what to make with it. Sometimes when I'm at the cashier, people behind me are just asking me, what is this? What are you using it for? The most common thing that in my family we use it for is a soup. My mom makes this amazing, super simple soup out of this, and it's a cheap dish, but I really like it. It's a few ingredients, so I hope you give it a try and you will not be scared by this crazy looking vegetable. And this is leek. In Czech we call this pórek, and this belongs into onion family. So it tastes like onion. You can even put it on a bread, as a decoration, not as a decoration, as a garnish. When you have some nice spread, you can just sprinkle this. It's a very nutritious vegetable, but it tends to be really dirty because it grows in the dirt. So I will show you how I wash it, because it has to be washed carefully, otherwise there will be mud, and that's not what we want in our soup. So let's go with the recipe. You will need 1 large leek, 6 cups of water, 1.5 teaspoon of salt, little bit of pepper, half a teaspoon of seasoning, and yeah, I'm using here Czech seasoning Vegeta, but you can get any soup seasoning you wish. But I warn you a little bit, because if you get a seasoning salt, it might be too salty. So if you do have a seasoning salt and you want to use it, then use less of regular salt, because you can add salt always later, but you cannot undo the salt. So just be careful with that. Then we have 1/4 of a cup of oil, 1/3 of a cup all-purpose flour, and lastly we have 1 egg. So as you see, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So let's start. I want to try to just rinse it normally, and then we will have to slice each layer, because it will need lots of rinsing. So I will cut off this bottom, because we don't need that. So discard this. And I'm using ceramic knife to preserve the vitamins, because those are the best. And now I slice it like this, which will open up, and then I will, after each wash, I will try to keep it in the same form, which is easier than to cut. And see, this is all dirt, so let's rinse it. Now another layer. Now you can see the mud. Yeah, that's what it is, because that's how it grows. And if these green ends are a little bit like worn out or something, just toss them also. Now we will put this one like this, because then it will be easier to cut. And we will not be needing it to do it all the way, but so far, until we still see some mud, we have to do it. And now you can kind of get through this. It's not much mud, as you see. This is good. Sometimes it's less muddy, sometimes it's more, it really depends. And now we have this whole thing, as you see. And now we will be cutting it, but first I will clean my dirty, muddy board. And now I will move to the island, and I will be chopping these. Here I prepared my pot where I will be cooking the soup. And now let's slice it all. I just do like this thick, this big, so it doesn't take forever. This is perfect. That's why I try to put the layers back into one. So here it is, everything sliced. And now we can put it on a stove. Let's add 6 cups of water, 1.5 teaspoons salt, a little bit of pepper, and half a teaspoon seasoning, soup seasoning, which is pretty much dried vegetables. Let's turn on the flame, stir it so the spices can be in the water. And now you will need to bring it to boil. So I'll put the lid on it so it's faster. And now keep an eye on it so you don't have it over boiling everywhere, because as soon as it starts to boil, then we need to lower the flame. It starts to boil now, so put it on lower, but still have the gentle boil, and I will stir it loud. Now just make sure that all the leek is put under the water, and make sure that it's still boiling, because I just lifted the lid, I lost some of the heat, and set up the timer for 10 minutes. And I don't normally stir it, I just let it be. There is nothing that can burn because it's all cooking in the water. Just on a gentle boil, it's perfect. While we wait for the soup to be done, let's crack an egg and put it in a cup, because we need to mix it so it's easier to put it in a soup. Now with a fork, you poke the egg yolk and just mix it. So this is good, and we can wait till it needs to be used. We have 5 minutes till our timer is done. So we will make a roux, so we are ready when we need to put it in a soup. So this is 1/4 of a cup of oil. Now I'm using here olive oil. Let's add 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour and turn on the flame and stir it. Now we are making what's called roux, which will be our thickening for the soup. And it's better when it has some color, because then it has more flavor. I have the flame on high, and you want to slowly stir it so it doesn't burn to your pot. It depends on what type of pot you have, but as you see, it starts to bubble up and it will get a little darker. So now the whole thing is bubbling up, so we can turn it off and wait for our timer to be done, and then we will be adding this to our soup. Our timer is almost done, and I want to show you what kind of tool I'm using. This is, I think it's called colander, because it has bigger holes. I recommend using this one because if you use the regular strainer, it's too fine of a mesh and it will clog it and it will not go through. So that's why you need these small holes, and this is perfect for the soup because you don't want to have a big flour chunks in the soup. So this way it prevents it. So I recommend using this for sure. And now let's add our roux to the soup. So the 10 minutes is done. I'll put my colander in. And now I like to scrape it all before I put it in to kind of get it ready, because it will wanna make a curds. So just put everything in. And now put it in. And also from the outside you want to stir it. And just like this. The strainer would be already clogged because it's too thick. And as you see, this all can get nicely put in through the through the colander. Let's stir the soup. And you want to use the whole thing. This looks good. So let's set it aside. And now stir the soup. And as you see, it's smooth. It doesn't have any chunks of flour. And it will thicken up a little bit, but you don't want it too thick. It's a soup. But raise the heat so it can keep boiling. because now we will be adding our last ingredient, and that's the egg. So we will be adding it slowly and stirring it while we do it, so we don't have large pieces of egg. We need to make sure that the egg is cooked in nicely. So let's give maybe 1 or 2 minutes, just a little stirring, but the soup is pretty much done. The leek is already soft, so it's perfect. It's ready, and now you need croutons, so you can put it on top and just enjoy it. So I'm done, and as you see, the soup is still hot and steaming, and that's how we like it in Europe. It's amazing, hot soup. Here I have some croutons, so I recommend checking out my video on how to make croutons, because it's a great addition, it goes great together. So I will put just a few for now in there. And this brings so many amazing memories of my mom making it. And you know, back then people didn't have much, so you would use just any cheap vegetable, and so this was a great soup, and I did not mind eating it at all. You know, I loved it actually. So let's go for it. It's very mild, it's a very unique taste. Have to blow so I don't burn myself. I like this soup. And with the croutons, it has a little because Leek has such a unique flavor and taste, because it's almost like an onion, but it's not really. So I hope you will try it. I don't want to bore you here with me just sucking the soup and just making all sorts of noises, which I will take it to the table and I will enjoy it. It's very mild. It's hard to describe the taste of the leek, but as close as I can say, it's similar to onion. So I hope you give it a try. It took just 30 minutes, so it's super fast. So if you do, just let me know. I would love to hear from you. And you can follow me on Facebook. There is amazing, huge community of amazing people. So I hope you can join. I'm on Instagram, Pinterest is also amazing, Twitter. So I hope to see you guys there, and have a great day. Bye.